If you are sitting at a coffee shop next to a table of web developers, you will probably hear two words quite a bit: tags, attributes, and elements. So an HTML element is an individual component of an HTML document. So it represents semantics or meanings. So most elements can contain other elements, as the body element would contain header elements, paragraphs elements, etc. So consider this illustration here. So it contains a single HTML element. It turns out this includes within it the entire content of your HTML file. So when we click the node, you'll find that the two components, a head and a body. So clicking on each of those will reveal their respective contents. So this structure is what the computer scientists call a tree. Any given element, except the outermost HTML element, is wholly contained inside another element, referred to as the parent element. So, and yes, not surprisingly, the elements that a given element contains are its child elements. So, children of a common parent are often referred to as siblings. So in this example, the top element is the HTML element, which contains just two elements, the head and the body. The head element contains a title element, and the body contains an H1 element and a P element. So in a more typical example, the body would contain many more children, but now for our purpose, this is enough. So that might be a great picture, but how do we represent such a structure in a text file? Well, that's where tags come in. Tags are what we use to organize a text file. So this is just a long string of characters such that it represents three elements that make up the HTML document. So HTML tag is a special word or letter surrounded by angle brackets. We use tags to create HTML elements such as paragraphs or links. Tags are not the elements themselves. Rather, they're the bits of text you use to tell the computer where an element begins and ends. So when you mark up a document, you generally don't want those extra notes that are not really part of the text to be presented to the reader. So as I've said a while ago, or on the previous lesson, HTML borrows a technique from another language called the SGML to provide an easy way for a computer to determine which part are markup and which parts are the content. So by using uh, the symbols, the angle brackets, as a kind of parenthesis, HTML can indicate the beginning and end of a tag. So whatever the tag or open tag does, it applies to the content following that tag. So unless you want to be the entire rest of the document, you need to indicate when to stop using that tag and do something else. So these angle brackets are again used. So since elements are typically nested within other elements, the browser needs to be able to distinguish between the end of the current tag or the beginning of a new tag. So this is done by adding backward slash symbol right after the uh, opening bracket symbol to indicate that it's a close tag. So to indicate the beginning and end of the paragraph, you end up with something like this. So this is the beginning tag, this is the closing tag. So the closing tag has a backward slash symbol on it. So the browser sees the letters P and decide a new paragraph is starting. That I'd better start a new line and maybe indent it. Then when it sees this symbol here with backslash symbol, it knows that the paragraph is what working on is finished. So it should break the line there before going. For example, the M tag is used for elements that needs emphasis. The open and close angle bracket symbol indicate that this is a tag. And the little bits of text in between tells us what kind of tag it is. So to completely describe the element, it needs an open and close tag. So this is the closing tag, with everything in between the tags being the content of the elements, of the element. Most tags have open and closed versions, but there are a few strange ones, so we generally refer to the strange ones as self-closing tags. Usually, these tags represent an element that is completely described by its attributes, and thus there is no need for other content. So if you see something like this, then you should know that the slash at the end of the open tag is sort of a shorthand for a close tag. So you won't need any other indication that this element is now complete. There are also a few tags that don't even use the backward slash at the end. They just don't have any close tags at all. Now, this works because all the information this tag needs is declared in an attribute. So to contrast between an element and a tag, this the structure here with an open and close tags and a bit of information or content in between are what an element is. And a tag is just a special word or character, letter that is surrounded by open and close angle brackets.